Hey guys, thanks for taking the time to listen. My name is Patrick Detka. I'm the small groups pastor at The Crossing, and really what I want to do is just give you some additional bullet points, some things to remember specifically on the process side of your group, as well as the people side of your group. For instance, a couple things to remember about the people side. Well, you know something? The most important thing that you can do in the context of your group is really develop relationships with the people in your group. Now, how do you go about doing that? Well, number one, pray. Make sure that at the end of every group, you have a time where you can just take down prayer requests and that you are intentionally praying for those people, the things that are nearest and dearest to their heart. The other thing is make sure to email them throughout the week and check on them and let them know that you're thinking about them. And if there's anything additional that they need, maybe some questions answered or a prayer that they need to have you pray for them. A lot of things that you can do throughout the week. The other thing just to remember is if you have time, set up a one-on-one with them so that you can just get to know them a little bit more individually and that you can pray with them, maybe before service or after service. But the most important thing that you can do is connect with their heart. And a lot of times you can do that by simply getting to know them in a more personal way outside of the group. The other thing to remember about the people part is that this group, you'll start to talk about an outreach project. Now, I'm not going to get into that until next week, but you should have a packet. You got it at the orientation. There's also one on the website that you can go ahead and download. And that'll get you guys thinking about doing something locally to serve our community. Now, the process part. In your small group, I want you to take this participants guide out. We're going to take a look at it. The first part, the lean-in question, says, tell about a time that you got the opportunity to give someone really good or exciting news. This is probably going to be one of the most vibrant discussions you have because people are excited about sharing something they had the opportunity to tell other people about. It gets them thinking about sharing good news and how much it brings joy to them. And that actually leads into the second part, which is the look down, where you're taking a look at Acts chapter 11, verses 19 through 24, where you're going to look at this question from this passage. What do you learn about how the believers shared the good news and what were the results? They're going to start thinking and start dreaming about what does it mean to be a generous giver. And let them wrestle with that. Let them look at these verses and let them come alive for them. Even as they look out, what it says is, what are ways believers can share the good news today? Because the whole idea when it comes to the book of Acts is that the book of Acts isn't finished. We're writing Acts 29. Our life is that chapter. And when that last question, the look-in question, the application question, you have a moment where you're going to have people write down their story and how their life is going to be added to Acts chapter 29. And so make sure that when you finish that time in your group, you give them about 5 to 10 minutes to write that down, and then they'll have the chance to read it out loud in your small group. They'll begin to consider how they can play a role in the life of the church, that their life is significant, and God has brought them to this church for this season, for this purpose. And so remind them that they're playing a part when it comes to the overall church, and their story is significant in God's story.